Welcome to episode 5 of my Pokemon retrospective. Today we'll be discussing the showdown at Pewter City. Let's begin, shall we? Ash and Misty arrive in Pewter City, and as they arrive into the outlines of the city, Ash decides to take a rest on a rock because he's exhausted. And then him and Misty are surprised by a man who is selling rocks for a living named Flint. Flint goes and helps them to the Pokemon Center. Meow! Don't you dare get in the way of the camera again, please. Please, buddy. Come on. Stay there. Okay, come. Go there. Good girl. Now, as I was saying, Flint helps Ash and Misty down to the Pokemon Center. As Ash and Misty get to the Pokemon Center, Ash is surprised by Nurse Joy being at Pewter City. And Nurse Joy explains, no, that's her sister from Viridian. She is the Nurse Joy of Pewter. And I will say this right now, that shit was hella funny when I was a kid. Seeing there was like this a whole picture of like over 12 Nurse Joys or some shit like that. I can't remember how many there was. I'll have to go count them, and I'll probably make something random about it in the future. But yeah, there's like God knows how many Joys, so I can't remember off the top of my head how many. Stop being a menace. So anyway, as I was saying though, freaking Ash and whatnot go there. Nurse Joy points out about the Pokemon, or what I think it was Nurse Joy pointed out about the Indigo League, or Ash saw the poster, was one or the other. Either way, Ash learns about the Indigo League, and it leads into him signing up so he could be a part of it, but then learning that he has to defeat the gyms first to get 8 badges to be able to participate in the gym itself. Anyway, as I was saying, so after Ash is freaking decided to sign up, he decides to head straight for the Pewter City gym after his Pokemon are healed. As he gets there, he meets Brock, the Pewter City gym leader. Ash then asks how long has Ash traveled with his Pokemon, and he said 2 weeks he's been traveling with his Pokemon. And then Brock makes the lights go on and whatnot, and it turns into the arena that is shown with the Pewter City gym, the rocky terrain and whatnot. And then I can't remember. I think it was a 2-on-2, maybe. I think it was a 2-on-2. Yeah. So Brock does 2-on-2. Starts off with Onyx, I believe. I may have to double check that. I may be wrong. Actually, no. I think he started off with Geodude in the rematch. No, I think he only used Onyx in the first match, and he curb stomped Ash in that match. He must have only used Onyx because I watched it a little while ago, so I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't really want to go back and re-edit this later, so I'm just trying to remember. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, Brock sends out Onyx and Ash sends out Pikachu. The battle begins with Brock completely curb stomping Ash. It's like there's no competition here. Ash isn't even really a fly to Brock in this battle. Brock instantaneously, completely freaking gets Ash in a trap and then surrounds it with Bind. And then Pikachu, being an electric type, can't hurt Onyx because it's an electric type, because it's a rock type, leading into Ash having to decide whether or not he wants to continue the battle or wants Pikachu suffer more. And then Ash decides it's best that he surrenders for his Pokemon's safety because he doesn't want to see them get hurt anymore. So Ash forfeits. After Ash forfeits, he leaves the gym dejected and whatnot. Later on, we see Ash and whatnot talking with Flint again, who told him to follow him. Ash follows Flint, and then they go with him to be creepy little stalkers for a little bit, where they stare in his house and then look at across the crossover to see Brock and what he was doing after the battle, looking after his 9 brothers and sisters. And then Flint explaining his backstory, saying as Brock's father went off to be a Pokemon trainer when really you are his father, sir. So stop pretending you're not at the moment. Either way. So anyway, after he explains that, he takes Pikachu and Ash to a dam, a well of some. It was like a wig. There's a water. What are they called? The spinny thing. Okay, I'm looking this up. Give me a minute, quickly. I gotta look up what they're called. Water. Yeah, water wheel. I thought it was a water wheel, but I was uncertain. Anyway, they take him to a water wheel. Flint puts electrodes on Pikachu's face and tells Ash to run on the water wheel to charge electricity. Oh, I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the episode, didn't I? At the very beginning of the episode, we see Team Rocket trying to prepare a pitfall trap, but after they hide it way too well, they forget where it is, and then they end up falling into the pit trap themselves. Alright, back to the main plot now. I completely forgot to mention what Team Rocket were up to in this episode. Anyway, so after that, Misty shows up while Ash is doing this, and she offers to let him borrow her water Pokemon, because the water types are strong against rock. But Ash refuses, saying, and then continuing with the training that Flint's offered, because he wants to be able to beat Brock by himself instead of using Misty's Pokemon for assistance, which in his eyes is clearly cheating, or at least not an earned win. The next day goes by after the training. Ash and Pikachu come back in for a rematch. Brock says does his usual Brock stuff during this point and starts the battle, starting off with Geodude instead of Onix. Ash sends out Pidgeotto, and then Pidgeotto gets kind of curb stomped by Geodude because it's a flying type and it has no fighting moves or anything, or any steel moves. Like, if Steel Wing existed, Pidgeotto should have been having Steel Wing at the moment. I don't even remember if Pidgeotto can learn Steel Wing. I'll have to look that up later. Anyway, Pidgeotto's completely beaten down by Geodude, and then Ash sends out Pikachu, which then Brock sends out Onix, and then you thought one time was good, but we get a repeat of number 2. Brock curb stomping Pikachu. Even with Pikachu's new electric attack Thunderbolt, it's not enough for friggin' Ash to be able to beat Brock. But because of a fire Pikachu set off during the fight, because of one of his electric attacks, it leads to the sprinklers coming on and leading to Onix being weakened by said sprinkler. Then Misty decides to go, it's your chance, attack now, because he's a rock type, he's weak against water. And yeah, so Ash could have taken advantage of this and struck Onix with a thunder attack, but I still don't think it would have worked in the long run anyway, because Onix is still a rock type. Even if it has water on it, I don't think it would be conductive enough to actually hurt Onix. I reckon the water itself would have still hurt Onix, but actually using the water to conduct electricity onto the rock type, I am uncertain if that would actually work. Since we never saw it happen, it's a bit skepticism right there between whether or not that would actually work. Overall, that's not the point. Ash decides not to because he doesn't believe it's the right thing, especially after Brock released Pikachu from Onix's hold and offering him the chance to surrender because he felt like he didn't want to freaking cause Pikachu that suffering anymore. But then, after that moment, Ash refused, and leading into him continuing with his, battle. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, Ash continues his battle, and it leads into, Brock basically losing by default, even though Ash forfeit, because by technicality, Brock did lose because the water, Onix would have eventually lost because of the water, so Ash giving up allowed Brock to win, but realistically, if Ash kept up the fight, Onix would have lost purely because of the water disadvantage that was going on there, even though I still don't believe the rock type difference would with the water type would have caused any issues with electric attacks. I still think the electric attacks would have done nothing. Anyway, after that, after showing the compassion Ash did, Ash left. Ash left the gym, and he was going to come back at the future to try to earn the badge after he trained more. As him and Misty are leaving, Brock comes running after them, and Brock then explains how Ash has earned the badge because his compassion for Pokemon. And then Brock explains how he really wants to be a Pokemon breeder. We will get back to that later, on how the story really doesn't do much with that, and then changes it in Diamond and Pearl, even though I personally prefer. I do enjoy where they go with it, because yes, they do show here and there the breeder stuff, but then I do prefer him going down the route of becoming a Pokemon doctor, even though I think Sun and Moon and retcon that. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, Brock explains how he wants to become the world's best Pokemon breeder, but he can't because of his family duties, so he asked Ash to continue his dream for him. Ash promises he will, and then Flint shows up and goes, nah, I'm done. I'm ready to come back. I felt like a failure. I'm going to come back and be the father I was meant to be. Brock then goes, yep, alright, if you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, and this, giving out a whole list of things he's got to do to take care of each of the kids, because Brock had been taking care of them for so long. And then episode really ends with Ash and Brock and Misty leaving Pewter City, and Brock and Ash walking ahead while Misty's behind them, yelling, you better pay me back for my bike still. So yeah, they're never going to let that go for a while, at least if I remember correctly. Anyway, that's how the episode ends. Honestly, I forgot the Pewter section was only one episode, really. I thought the Pewter section was a double. So when I rewatched it, and it was only one episode, very surprising. But anyway, I enjoyed this one. Definitely more fun than last episode, which was Challenge of the Samurai. So I hope to see you all again next time, and hopefully I'll begin uploading a bit more regularly. Probably not, though. Knowing me, I will probably end up forgetting I have this channel again, and then it'll be like maybe 6 months before I upload again. Or I'll end up remembering to upload and then beginning an actual process. If I do start an actual process, then hopefully I actually begin getting videos down, because I want to actually start making things more regular, but I don't know whether or not I will actually do that. Because I want to do it, but I also know that even if I set my mind to something, sometimes I end up just forgetting to do it. So, thanks all for watching this one, and I may create some other content as well. I plan to make a few what-ifs here and there again. Like the first one I made, I believe like 2 years ago now, if I remember correctly. Maybe even longer. I'm going to try to do better with those. And I'll also probably make more tier lists, like my Pokemon starter tier list. I'll probably end up doing the first 151 Pokemon for a tier list. And then from there, we'll see what we do. I may even do just legendaries and mythicals from Gen 1 first, and then go down the route of going down the whole 150 and then assigning them tiers based on my opinions of them as the first 151 Pokemon. Either way, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Catch you next time. Bye.